Hi, this is Chris Hawkins, and you're listening to the Liverpool Connection podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. This is my football and music one-on-one episodes where I bring on a musician who obviously likes football. It's pretty easy. I'm Daz. I met this lad, I think about 2 years ago now. He came to South by. I was hanging out with Jamie Webster, and it was actually the first time that I'd heard the band, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I've followed your career the last couple of years. But they got a brand new album out called Western Approaches, and they just did a massive, massive hometown gig in Liverpool, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I've got the lead singer from Red Rum Club, Fran, coming on today to talk about Liverpool Football Club, what it means to him, and about the band. So, Fran, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me, Daz.
So I'm just going to delve right into what was Little Fran all about. When did you really start like going a match and really supporting them? Because I started at 6 when my granddad took me, and at 6 years old you really aren't like comprehending what's going on, especially not in the cop, and then watching on the pitch. So how was it for you?
Well, the first love of football for me wasn't Liverpool Football Club, to be honest. Don't worry, I'm not going to say Everton, but it was.
Just spit you off.
It was actually Bootle Football Club. My family run Bootle, or have a lot to do with Bootle Football Club. My dad, I think, my dad has held every position that could be: manager, centre forward, chairman, secretary, treasurer, president, and all the family got involved. All the family were involved. My granddad, to the day he died, he got a special. He was involved in the club. He got a special recognition by the FA for like 60 years service. He restarted Bootle. The original derby in Liverpool or Merseyside was Bootle versus Everton, and he restarted Bootle when it went out of business, and it became Langton, and he dropped out the Football League. And then my granddad worked on the docks and got all the dockers together and restarted the team. So really, it did have a hiatus, but really, Bootle is sort of older than Liverpool Football Club. If you go to like the Football History Museum, you see the first 6 professional leagues, the first division and second division. Bootle are there. Bootle and Everton are there, and Arsenal and Villa and teams like that. So that was my thing, and then I started playing when I was about 6 or 7. I was pretty good. Probably before that, I can't remember, but before that, I was probably around football so much, just kicking it when we were going up to Bootle and running around the pitch and whatever. When I started playing like competitively and got myself into a team, I was quite good. I played for Liverpool, I played for Everton, I played for Wrexham. Around 6 was the time where it just exploded, and I remember it must have been around that time I went to my first ever game, Tottenham. David Ginola scored for Tottenham. We beat them 2-1. Patrick Berger scored and Owen scored, and that was the first time I was ever in the Kop. And then it was just I probably got 2 loves, Bootle and Liverpool, to be honest. Yeah.
So what happened with the football with you then? Like,
so I was playing 6, 7, 8, and 9. I was playing like for Wrexham, and now and then I was playing every week for Wrexham, and now and then I was playing for Everton. I think Liverpool. I've done a few training sessions with Liverpool, and he said, I think they'll give you a call or something like that. So I think I played in some friendly games and stuff like that. But then I got a bone disease as a child in my hip, a thing called Parth's disease, and it's sort of like a child's version of arthritis, where your bone and joint sort of wears away a little bit. The cartilage wears away, and because you're a kid, it'll sort itself out. But it's had to have an operation to sort of make the shape of my hip okay for recovery. And I had 2 years off football. I was bedbound for 3 months. I was in a wheelchair for 3 months. I was on crutches for 6 months and couldn't really play for about 2 years. So I come back, but then it was around that time, 9, 10, 11. You moved to like open age rather than five-a-side kids football. It moved on a little bit, and I come back and some of the other lads, I was still good, but some of the lads physically had developed more, and I just missed those 2 years. So come back and played in local teams and whatever else, and then I played to an all right level, played for Bootle's reserve team, and probably could have, if I wasn't in the band getting drunk every Friday night, I probably could have played, earned a couple of quid, 50 quid on a Saturday to go and play semi-pro or something, but life took me in a different direction. It chose women and beer. I think that.
Well, I think like if you ask most lads in Liverpool, what they want to be when they grow up, they'll be like a professional footballer or a musician. So it's either one or the other. They don't go, I want to be a plumber.
Yeah. I think the moment I picked the guitar up and started taking music seriously, I remember asking my mum for a guitar for Christmas. It's probably coincidentally, I don't know whether I was consciously aware of this, but it's probably when I realised that I wasn't going to be Gerrard. I was like, okay, maybe football isn't for me then, because up until then it was. And then, come back after the long stint out and stuff. And then I was like, oh yeah, they're a little bit better than me, and they never used to be. Maybe I won't be on Liverpool's books. And then, okay, find another way of making £1 million. And there I am, still waiting.
I think I'm the same. I was doing all right, like playing football, and then like over like a summer period, I didn't really grow, and the lads I was playing against grew, and they were a lot more physical, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting the shit kicked out of me, and I didn't like it, and but there was just nothing I could do. I could just tell like, it's just not going to happen. It's just going to be
a little bit.
Just Sunday league, but yeah, I think I was a rock star for like one day. My dad had a Gibson, and this is when I was like 8 years old, and I took his Gibson in the garage, and I painted it white.
No.
Yeah.
With his permission?
No.
Oh God! Wow.
Yeah, I just took it, and I didn't like the color of it. It's one of those where you're doing your hair. I was doing my hair like rockabilly style.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror, doing that, and twanging, and then I was like, I don't like the color of this, and it's a beautiful red, and I just did. I mean, I look back and like it was a beautiful guitar, but I went in the garage and I just took the household paint and I did it every last inch of it.
No. I wouldn't forgive you there. Like, wow.
I still don't think my dad's forgiven me. Like, I mean, I wouldn't forgive me kids if they came in here and like spray painted me trainers. That's it. Yeah. I might be taking them on a road trip and dropping them off somewhere. But, yeah, that's a no.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, for Anfield, for you, like, going as a kid is a lot different than like like I went with my granddad, but then you start going with your mates, and it's the adventure, isn't it?
Yeah. It's school, to be honest. I think it's school for young lads. It's school for teenagers. Because it's the first time you sort of stand side by side and have to with grown men, and have to sort of have the courage of your convictions. You can no longer sort of throw your chest about and sort of use your authority like you were able to in school or whatever like that. Like it's the school of hard. Well, it's not the school of hard knocks, but it's a bit of a rite of passage. You need to learn how to behave in environments where there's beer involved and there's pumped emotions. Be understanding yourself and your limits, and doing everything you can to sort of like be socially aware and be, as well as having a good time. But knowing when a good time might become a bad time is the and then also the camaraderie, the social aspect of it, of like, it's very rare that we get it nowadays because living a very individualistic life of like everyone's just on the phones and living in small, like sort of small family, or whoever you live with is probably the person you see the most or speak to the most, and like you haven't got like, you know, huge community centers or like feelings like that anymore. So being able to bring lots of people together is like you probably learn a lot about humankind and what matters in life to people, because when you go to the game and sing with a couple of thousand people and then come home and you're like, that made me feel better. So, you know, why is that a little bit? Regardless of what colour your team are in and or anything, you need someone to shout for, and you need people around you to be a part of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I had a guest on the other day, Rohan, and you know, he's bipolar, and he was just telling me like Anfield is his therapy because he can go be amongst people and just not say a word and just
Yeah,
listen, you
yeah,
know. And he's like that's my therapy. But I think like with the old boys too, like going, if you got out of line, they'd let you know.
yeah, yeah, sweet, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I think I miss those days. Like, you know, obviously living over in the States, you know, I used to go on a regular basis to Anfield. I miss it. It's just walking up to the ground, you know, smelling the the nasty hot dogs, just smelling. I mean, even like it's so weird. Like coming back home, I was at the Newcastle match in January, and I'm from Thornby, so you know I go down to Central, and the smells of the city, and even like the piss smell of Central Station's bogs. It's like I'm home. I know
yeah,
it's a weird thing, but like
yeah.
the smell of the
Trigger,
city
trigger
on
of
match day,
yeah, yeah.
you know, match day is all the smells, you know, from you know the pubs, just from the people, just from like what's going on. I just miss it. I know it's a weird thing.
Do you feel like that's like sort of, do you become a different person, or do you like just slip back into what you were, like that sort of thing? Because you know we're always like people of our environments, aren't we? And I like you act a certain way in front of your kids, and you know, and you act a different way in front of in a pub or at the match or whatever. Do you just slip back into who you were, like sort of thing?
I do, yeah. Like it's so weird. Like the first thing is like when I'm around my mates and my family, the accent's stronger. Because I mean,
Oh yeah,
I've been over there a long, long time, you know, and I've still got me twang.
yeah,
But like,
yeah.
it's just that something clicks in me
Hmm.
that I'm just, yeah. I smile a lot more when I'm back home.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just well, maybe it's because I smile because I'm only there like once every couple of
yeah.
years.
The
But
novelty.
it is, but I miss it. Like I said, like just you know, walking on the dock, the smell of the Mersey, it's just something that just brings me back home. And even just like being on the trains, because there's one train like in Austin, like to get you from to downtown. But it's not like the trains back home because you know at least these trains show up on
Yeah,
time. The
yeah,
trains back home are just like it's like Russian roulette. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you're hoping it shows up. Most of the time. It's you know like Merseyrail is just it's not great, is it? With the whole of England, the rail's terrible. Like when
oh,
I came home, you know, I got into Manchester and I already got a ticket to get off the plane, get straight on the train to Lime Street, ready to go, you know, after being 10, 11 hours on a plane. You just want to get home and then cancellation. I'm like, why? Don't know. It's like,
yeah.
that's not the answer I want.
None of your business, almost.
But yeah, we're creatures of habit, and I just think you step back in that zone, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
and just being around, like I said, match going Reds. It is the way it is, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I feel like a teenager again. I
yeah.
mean, I'm in my 50s, you
And,
know, and I still like when I go to a match, I still have goosebumps. I still like, you know, it's again walking up the steps, and then especially on you know nighttime kickoff
yeah, yeah.
under the light. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's in your blood, isn't it? It ignites something in you special. Like,
Yeah, I always tell people like you know over there, like if you go, don't just go to a match. Spend a few days in Liverpool, like you know, like take in the city. I think a lot of people like just go in and out. They go to the match, you know, might go to the pub before and afters, but that's
yeah,
all they do. And then they're back on the train, or you know, they in a cab back to the hotel, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
off. And I'm like, spend some time there.
No,
Take
yeah.
take in the city. Go to the karaoke bars.
I've
Uh,
travelled. I've travelled quite a lot with the band, and obviously our industry, our business is nighttime sort of party going, sort of sociable, unsociable hours. If you're talking about working, and I've been to a lot of places. Say this is we're about to go on our fifth tour of the USA. We've been to Austin so many times. We've been to probably every place that you'd say that's a big, maybe not like the Ibiza or something like that, but been to a lot of cities in the UK and in the US, and not one of them have ever matched. I mean, South by Southwest great and whatever, but I haven't been to Austin when it's not been on. Or sorry, tell
mhm.
like what we were in and I played the show. But as far as the nightlife is concerned, as far as the pubs and the restaurants, pubs and clubs after 6 o'clock, there's nowhere better. I'm yet to experience a better place. And obviously, there's better clubs. You go to Ibiza, you go to the super clubs and or whatever, or you go to Miami and you can be on the beach and all stuff like that. But you can. I always use this like phrase, and it's you could start at the cathedrals at the top of the city and walk downhill until your feet got wet in the River Mersey every day for a year, and you'd never have the same night. You'd never have you'd never lack a pub to drink in, and you'd always meet a friend on the way. It's like you could have 365 totally different nights. You might not enjoy one or two of them, but like you'd still be able to like come away singing. I've experienced 365 totally different, just by turning left or turning right and going into a slightly different route or a different pub. It's something. It's a great export of ours, even though you can't export United Life, but being known for it, yeah, I would honestly welcome anyone to come because once you get a feel for that, it's hard to sort of replicate anywhere else. I've found nowhere can a city centre give a buzz and then you can have a good night like you can here. To be honest, it's special. That's not biased. I've been everywhere. Been everywhere.
You should work for um the Liverpool tourism board. You get everybody over there have a t-shirt.
Well,
um,
when the band falls through, oh yeah, I'm ready.
well, now, you've got yourself. I mean, the Cavern Club. Everybody should know, the Beatles and stuff. It must feel like, especially coming from Liverpool, to be able to get on the wall of, like that's the wall of fame. I mean, because you've been around since 2016, and you've been plugging away. And does that? I mean, for the Liverpool band, like, I'm I'm trying to say, like, not that you've like made it like superstardom, but when you get on the wall of fame, like that's gotta make you feel like so proud because
Yeah,
you're in esteemed company.
yeah, and it's probably it's like your motives for being in the band, our motives for doing what we do or forever change. So when you first start the band, it's just to be the guy on stage. You're trying to get a bit of attention and maybe a girl's attention and maybe a few free drinks and a night out with your mates. Then you move on, then you want to sort of prove yourself a little bit and say, I want to write some songs, and yeah, I've got an art, and then you get a record deal, that may be another thing, and then you want to go and play a festival and be on stage in your sunglasses, like, and it's Glastonbury, and then, yeah, go on a UK tour. Like, always your motives change and change and change, but we reached the point now where we were just like, we just had to, we'd done all that. I don't want to be big-headed there, but we had done all that, and we were comfortable with it. And we were like, okay, yeah, we've done well there. We can go and do that again. We were never out of our depth. And within the city, you start to feel like, especially when you've done like 3 albums, 4 albums now, but at the time it was like 3 albums when we first started feeling like this. Legacy started coming to probably everyone does when they're like 30 odd and that. Like I'm 30 and some of the lads are just turning 30. Legacy and what you leave behind is sort of important. 2 or 3 of the lads have got kids and stuff, and you know, when we're dead and gone, to be able to have people still talk in our city, talk about, oh, remember Red Drum Club? Yeah, they were a good band, Liverpool band, were they? In the same way we talk about it, or our parents tell us about bands that they used to see. Like, so getting a brick on the wall was like probably a representation of that, of like someone 10 years down the line when we all hate each other, and I've been divorced 3 times and bankrupt, and someone's living in India and whatever else is going on. Still want to be like, remember them? They were good. That was a good band, wasn't it? They played a good show. Like that sort of. So it was a big tick, and it's quite strange, really, because it was the week we played the huge arena show, and after it, I think we all felt a bit empty. We were for about a week. You usually do when you finish a tour, but this one was a special. Like, okay, where do we go from here now? Like, we never really thought past this point. You know what I mean? We were like, okay, we've got that, and then we play the arena, the big show, and then, oh no, well, we've achieved everything, but we still got the hunger to do. So we've probably spent the last couple of weeks trying to work out where we go now, and thankfully we've got America coming up. We fly out to America on Tuesday, but thankfully the world's like sort of opening up to us and be like, okay, we're a big band in Liverpool, and the UK is following suit, but all right, let's go and sell a show out in New York. Then okay, there's our next thing. You know, let's go and get, or is it the paving stones in LA? The walk of fame, is it?
Yeah.
No, maybe that's the next one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like how it's kind of like, how do you top, like, you know, your hometown gig? I mean, selling out, you know, and you're in front of, you know, your fans, and then, you know, maybe you come over there and you only play to, you know, a couple of hundred. How does that, like, in a band, like, you go from like this high to like, you kind of feel like you not starting over again, but you've got to keep on, you know, work hard.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rocket. It's a bit of a wake-up call in a great way, though. Not like, oh my God, we've got to do it. It's like, right, there's work to be done. Let's get our teeth into this. You know, let's roll our sleeves up. Let's go. With the added advantage this time of, well, we've got an extra 3 or 4 years of experience. So what worked and what didn't work, we're not going round the houses. Let's be really efficient to what we do here. And we're a much better band now, so we're hoping things move a lot quicker in America than they did in the UK. Like you said, 2016, didn't get signed until 2018, released an album 2019. Hopefully, we'll cover a lot more ground in 3 years in America now with that experience of the UK behind us. So, yeah, it feels like, you know, sometimes I don't want to say it gets boring. You can get complacent preaching to the converted over here when everyone knows you and you knows all your songs. You've got to go over there and go and play to a room that half of them probably just been dragged there by someone who's seen us online. Like, you know, you've got to win them over. There's work to be done. So it's motivating. That's what it is.
Well, it's like talking to Jamie, and, you know, with thing is with Jamie, like, I can relate to his songs. You can most, you know, Scousers do, most people in England do. But does it relate over here? You know, I think that's one of the big things. Like, not that he was worried about. I mean, you know, you get on stage and you do your thing, but will Americans kind of, you know, feel the same way? Will he get your lyrics the same? I mean,
Yeah.
like, I mean, for you lot, you make some, like, you know, anthem songs as well. You know, just like get your hands in the air. Let's
Yeah.
part basically. But like, for your writing, because you know each album obviously has to be a bit different. Like, are you, who's the main? Are you the main writer in the band?
No, so Tom, the guitarist, is my cousin. He's usually the guy who comes in with the idea, the nucleus, the thing that like we all build around, and that thing might just be um a lyric, one line, or it might be a melody, or it might be a complete song. And so I've got this full song, and then usually then me and Michael, I'll sort of add my lyrical thing. If Tom's like, it's about this thing, and can we maybe, and then I'll go, well, I've got words about that. Can we maybe merge them, and I'll try and make it a little bit more personal to me. And then Michael sort of musically arrange it, and we'll work. Then it'll sort of become, we'll put the meat on the bones, sort of thing. Sometimes I come in with the idea of the song and go, "This is my idea," but Tom's a whiz. He churns them out. He really does. Like, I come in with one thing, and Tom's got, well, I've got these five, and you're like, oh, that's okay. He's a really talented songwriter, and he's really took it upon himself to. That's how he sees his role in the band. You know what I mean? And he's really like he's good at it. I don't know any better, to be honest.
So I mean, you know, I've read some reviews and you're hard to pigeonhole, and I think that's really good. You know, I've read, like, you know, the band's a bit like Arctic Monkeys with the Zootons thrown in, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I listen to your music, like I said, and it's really good that you're not in like a so-called genre, you know, like the indie
Yeah,
stuff. People just like to put labels on bands, and
yeah,
I can't stand that, you know.
and we've suffered from that in like the music industry and the press, where they obviously need to be really efficient in what they're doing, or we need to be really clear on what we are. And in boardrooms, or like when lineups for festivals are getting decided, or in press offices where they go, there's this band from Liverpool called Red Rum Club. Okay, what are they like? You know, if you have to spend 5 or 10 minutes explaining what we're like, rather than just they're an indie rock band, then it just you lose the interest, you lose the wind, or because they don't take a risk on it because they can't quite place you. You know what I mean? And that's not our fault. That's their fault. Of like, okay, well, there's not really a genre to that, is there? Well, no, but isn't it a good thing? Like, I don't know.
Ah, it's 100% a good thing not to be labeled. I just think too many bands, like, you know, are they the next Lars? Are they the next Coddle? Yeah, there doesn't have to be a next any of them, because
No,
there's only one Lars, only one Coddle, only one Jamie Webster, only one Red Rum Club. I just think it's, yeah, pigeonholing stuff it gets on my last nerves. You know, you are who you are, and you
yeah,
play how you are. So, I mean, with your albums, like, for me, you know, when I go see somebody live, that's when I really know, like, what kind of band they are. Because when you're in a studio, you know, even like I DJ like house music and stuff, you can make it sound perfect, you know,
yeah,
with digital, you know,
yeah,
digital. That when you're in front of an audience, it's raw. It's you know, five
yeah,
five lads just giving it their all.
yeah,
That's when I know, like, I'd never seen Jamie live before, and until South by, you know, and I was right up close, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this lad's damn good. And
yeah,
and, and same with you lot as well. I was like, it's nothing like I've heard before, and I've heard like Mexicana
Yeah,
over here, or yeah, Mexicana music is massive over here, and
yeah,
like dun 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 music
yeah,
because live in Texas, but it's just when you hear a band just hit it from the first song to the last, and you go home, just it's still ringing in your ears, that like a good ringing, and that's the mainstay of. I think that's the mainstay of like what you want to do. I know touring can be a big, massive pain in the arse. Everybody thinks it's champagne and caviar, but
mm,
no, it's not. It's like you said, it's like stinky socks. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
everybody
Separate drives.
has a few. Maybe one of the lads has got sick on
Yeah,
the tour bus, and you're just like, oh no, it's not like that at all. And too many people, I think these days with the auto tune and like how pop music is like, all right, you've got to dress a certain way, you've got to sing a certain way. This is how you've got to talk. With
yeah.
use it's just you are who you are, and I think that's why I think you'll just get better and better and better is because you just keep to yourselves.
Yeah, it's for once being real, but it's also if you try and pigeonhole and if people like sort of want you to be something, it's like objectifying the subjective. Art and music is subjective, so like everyone should have their own opinion on it, and it should be totally sort of free and fluid in order to for us as artists to be able to go there and come back and like if we want to be indie bands for a minute, we'll be an indie band for a minute. Want to be Mexican, we'll be Mexican. Like we will go there and do that. But if you simplify it and not people who don't work in music because a lot of them do, but if you want to objectify it and pigeonhole and like, okay, that's you and that's them and the user they over there and you do that thing and using that and using that, and, like it's objectifying it. It's making trying to make a science out of art, and that doesn't work. There's no science to it. There's no rhyme or reason to why an artist is good or a song is good. So why try and like define it somehow? I don't know.
So, like when you first started, I always like to ask, like especially lead singers, was it were you pushed to the front, or were you like, hey, I'll be the lead? Because I mean, it is a massive responsibility because you are like, I mean, kind of the look of the band. They see you first.
Yeah. So the story goes, we got together, and this was pre-Joe, pre the trumpet. We got in recording in a studio with Rich Turvey, who'd done the last album, and we were 16, 17, and he'd only just come out of university before he'd done like Cortinas and Blossoms and all those, before he'd hit the big time. And we were going to be a band with 3 lead singers. We were going to do like an Eagles thing and have like a big harmony thing. But I play guitar too at that time, and Tom and Michael better guitarists than me. And luckily, when I sang in front of Rich, everyone went in, sang their bit, and I think I was last to go in and sing. I sang one of the verses, and Rich was like, "No, Fran, you're the lead singer." Like the other two were like, "What?" And I was like, "No, there's 3 lead singers." He was like, "No, you've got a better like sort of recording voice, a little bit more distinct or something. Not a better voice because." Tom and Mike are actually, if you're coming down to pitch and like and musical know-how, they're probably better than me. But maybe I don't know. Maybe that's why he sort of picked me to go like, no, you should be the lead singer because it wasn't perfect. And then so I was then the singer from that day. We were like, okay. They thankfully they took the words for it, and I think they were happy playing guitar and doing back and vocals. And then. Must have been about 6 months later, they took the guitar off me. And they were like, no, you just dance around because you can't play guitar very well. And we're better than you. And we need to, like, just dance around and be the cheerleader as well. Okay. And I'm still trying to master that bit. Yeah.
So we have to talk about, again, the hometown gig, rehearsing for it. I mean, how long did you rehearse? Like a week before? just to get everything nailed down?
Well, someone asked this. We've been on tour for we had a 2 week tour where we had 2 days off in those 2 weeks. We were playing 4 nights on the bounce, a day off, 4 nights on the bounce, day off, 4 nights on the bounce. Done that for 2 weeks. Before then, we'd practiced like an hour set. We probably ran the set 3 or 4 times, let's say. Then we played it every night for 2 weeks. Then we added half an hour's worth of songs with a string section. And we ran that 1.5 hours set without the strings twice. One on the Wednesday, one on the Tuesday, once on the Wednesday, and then that was it. It was like just ran through it twice. We were just like, yeah, because we were pretty sharp with it anyway. We had what the strings were going to play, so in our ears we had like a digital version of what the strings were going to play, so we knew all cues and stuff like that. We ran it twice, and that was it. We were ready. When we got to the sound check, the strings were all there. All the string players were there, so we just ran them parts once, and we're like, yeah, everyone okay? Yeah, that was it. It was just like very. I'd like to say we were like, no, we were away, hammering away, and blah blah blah. But like, we're pretty. We keep ourselves really fresh and ready to go, sort of thing.
Well, was it like, I mean, especially in your hometown gig, you know, were you shitting it? Just, I mean, because it is the biggest one you've played, right?
Yeah.
And in your hometown, any nerves, or you just went, I'm going out there? Well, I mean, I'm sure with making those, who's your regular bartender in the band? Because I saw the tequila and stuff, and it didn't look, it looked very bitter. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I don't think that it gives me heartburn halfway through the gig. I can't speak because of heartburn off them. No, there was no nerves, to be honest. I've got pretty good at like. I've never really had nerves going on stage. I've never really. As much as some of the lads might say different, or some of the fans might say, never really had like a ego or an expectation of myself. Really, like I know, just go on stage and do my best, and I know when I haven't done my best, then I'll beat myself up a little bit about it. But I knew we were really well prepared, and everyone was asking me, you know, like you nervous, like the week and 2 weeks before, and I said, no, I haven't thought about it. I purposely haven't thought about it in order to not get too hyped up. I need to peak at the right time, and then also for my own sanity, I wanted it just to be another gig, in a sense that like I didn't want it to be a huge like, here it is, crowning moment, and then come crashing down. Or I didn't want everyone else to think that's it, they've done it, done. Like I wanted it just to be like, no, we're now just playing the slightly bigger rooms. We're gonna do this for the next 10 years. Like you know, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do exactly this in every other city in the UK, and then hopefully in America. Like, and then all of us are pretty sort of level-headed. We don't get too ahead of ourselves and stuff. So it was just we were reassuring each other, just go out, play the songs. We've done it for the last 2 weeks. We've done it for the last 4 years. Just go play the songs, the same old songs. Take a moment now and then when you need to, and look around and go, wow, and see how many people are there. But then as soon as the next song starts, click back into gear and be Red Drum Club, be the guitarist, be the trumpet player, play your drums, play the bass, I'll sing, and it'll all be fine. And we just done that. I remember we come off stage and the reaction, we all stood backstage and just like sort of just went, wasn't like high fives and hugging, we all just went like, as if to say, yeah, comfortable, yeah, okay, happy, play well, yeah, okay, sit, come on then, let's go and have a drink, like that. It was like we were comfortable on stage. It was like, yeah, of course, we've just done an arena. We always knew we could, even though we never. If you just act like that, you know what I mean. It saves you a lot of emotional turmoil.
Wow, that's brilliant. I mean, just take it as it is. But I want to talk about the new album. What I know it's always hard to ask, like, what what is your favorite song from the new album? You know, does every single bandmate, you know, like, have you all come together and gone, this is the one, or are you all separate and go, well, I like this one?
Yeah, it's all separate. We and to be honest, it's forever changing. If you ask me tomorrow, I might say a different song. There's probably two that always stay up there in the top two or three of songs that I like off the album, but they come in and out of most of them. Just come in and out of me fancy, depending on, you just forget about them. Oh yeah, you just take it for granted a little bit. You listen back and you go, oh, actually that's a good song, sort of. But yeah, I'm proud of Hole in My Home. I'm proud of Jigsaw. Proud of all of them, but yeah, those are the two. And Last Minute, I think I delivered a good vocal on that one. Hole in My Home's a big epic thing, and I think it's really meaningful, really universal. And the whole video around that was quite good for me. Like I worked with the council to get the video shot in old flats that are being pulled down, which give the song a different meaning. And because I work for the council, you see, so I knew people through the canal. I'm still working with the kids, still working with disabled kids. So that has a meaning, beyond just the song being a song.
Now, are you lads Sefton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with Jamie's gig coming up in July, that's another milestone. I mean, because everyone knows Sefton Park.
Yeah.
Obviously, the walk between the Goodison and Anfield, but like, again, to be able to play a gig like that, outdoors as well, like
Yeah.
it's another milestone in your belt and stuff. Um, it's I just feel like you're just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger. Like I just do. I'm not just saying it because you're right in front of me, but it's just, I think more so now that I've talked to you, because you just people change, when they start getting like songs on the radio or start playing big gigs. They do. I've known, I've mates who are DJs, and they start getting, up there,
Yeah.
change the whole personality. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
They
Yeah. Yeah.
still seem so grounded. I mean, is that just like the person you are and the rest of the band? You just like, you know who you are, and I think keeping it real is the number one thing.
Yeah, I think it probably goes back to what you said earlier about the our fellas in the pub. Like we sort of, there's a luxury of being in a band because you if you do get ahead of your station a little bit, there's probably your mate in the band who'll say, what are you talking about there? Like, why are you acting like that, sort of thing. So you will get a slap down, and then yeah, being around football and just growing up in the way we did in Sefton in like a working class blue collar environment, you can't get too ahead of yourself. There's no point in getting to it. Like you can't get up yourself in any sort of way. You're not worthy of doing it. Just because you played a few songs and there's people who are actually doing really good things in the world, rather than us just like drinking them, playing our little tunes to people. It's good to have that now and then. You fall into like, wow, we're great. I've watched some videos back at the arena. I was like, wow, we've really done something there. But it doesn't change who you are, really, does it? I don't think.
Yeah, that's again, that's what I love about you lot and Jamie. You're exactly the same people,
Yeah.
and I love that. You got to be real. I wanted to get back to Liverpool Football Club and your thoughts on the season so far. I mean, because I know if you ask me, well, August, would we be in the top four and won a trophy? I would have bit your hand off. I really would, especially after last season. So I think, with Klopp coming and telling everyone in January, I think we all, a lot of us, including myself, fell into this dreamlike state of this fairy tale of Klopp, winning every trophy possible. I got caught up in it and I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then a month ago, the FA Cup against United, where we're just smashing them, and then we just didn't finish them off. And I think that's really, really hurt the lads. You can tell something's not right. So what's your thoughts on, what were your thoughts coming last August, when the lads come back and after last season, and Hendo, Fabinho, Milner, they're all gone, and it's a whole totally new midfield. What were your thoughts on that?
I would have taken top four. I would have just been like, get top four, be solid. Maybe some signings in January that'll kick on again next year, and then maybe get a good summer again this year. Maybe go for the title this year. But still, I thought that would be way off. I still thought it'd take us 3 or 4 years. I thought that when we got beaten in Madrid, to be honest, I was like, okay, there's a decline here, and that was it. That was crowning moment. Whether we won it or not, it wasn't going to get better. Or that team wasn't going to get better. It was only going down. It was 13, 14 players in an absolute peak. Coming in this year, I was expecting top four, and then everyone sort of surprised us. Szoboszlai sort of become this thing that we're like, oh, that's it become almost like a throwback to a big, physical, strong but technical. Something that we probably hadn't had since maybe Gerrard, because we had Gini, who was big and was strong, but he didn't move the way he did, the way Szoboszlai, and he didn't really hit the ball like he did from far out. He scored 25 yarders. The way he found a new place for Trent, and it sort of shored up the back four. I think McAllister took a bit of time getting going. I thought physically, he'd struggle a little bit. I thought you can't play him in a 3, or you can't play him in a 2, or you can't play him in a 6 because he isn't physically quite good enough. I still think that might be the case. I think he might be a little bit lightweight at times, but he's magic on the ball. I think he's the starter, and he's probably the one who's come out in crown glory. But when Klopp announced it, I think it was perfectly timed for us to get into Dreamland, because the team are flying. Everyone, in retrospect, everyone was sort of overachieving. Achieving not saying overachieving, because that's doing them disservice, but at least being 95% in every game, every single one of them. Even Endo found a spot, and there he could come in and all that. Nunes looked good, looked big and strong and physical, and everyone was just waiting for that to click. Salah looked good before he went to the African Cup of Nations, and then I think just reality caught up a little bit with the team, as well as the emotional thing. I think once the cracks started to appear and Dreamland became become exactly that, I think a lot of people, including the players and including very important players, so I've never seen Virgil van Dijk throw his hands in the air as much as he did in the past 3 months. Mm-hmm. I think Trent's obviously coming back and whatever, and I think he sort of realised that maybe we're not as close as we thought we were. Robbo obviously being injured, and then Salah just being off the boil. It was perfectly timed. Come on, let's go and get 4, and then I think reality has come. Maybe late March, I don't know. I'm still incredibly proud of them, and I still think there's a place for most of them. I don't know whether you want me to be controversially and name names and stuff, but for most of them, I think there's a nice basis, there's a nice solid thing there to go and add 2 or 3 really important positions and really important classy players, pay through the nose for them if need, not pay through the nose, but because it's Liverpool Football Club, you're going to maybe take a risk and pay an extra 10, 15 million quid and go and get them in really important positions and go again. But yeah,
I don't think we need like major surgery. You know, thank God, if I didn't have a podcast, I would not be anywhere near Twitter. I'm sure you're kind of the same. You know, you're only on Twitter because of the band. It's toxic. People just come out with the most bizarre stuff. Like, get rid of nine players. I'm like, you're having a laugh. Like, I think the cause there. I just think one or two players need to be moved on.
I think so, yeah.
Just to freshen things up. I mean, uh, who are your players that you think like need to be moved on?
Only because the contract situation, and it kills me to say it, probably Salah. If you need the money to go and buy his replacement, I don't want it to happen. But if he's out of contract next year and goes on a free, and we need 50 million quid to go and buy his replacement, then if the right bid comes in, it's hurt me. It's hurt me as much as Owen going, Suarez going, Torres leaving. It hurt me that much. But if I'm John Henry, you'd have to take the money in order to keep. I don't know the financial ins and outs of things, but to keep the thing going. Thiago, he's just not playing enough. Can't stay fit.
Yeah, he's gone, and I think Matip's gone as well. I just think I mean, even like I love him, like Diego, but I'm starting to see a trend of injury.
Yeah, there's no.
Like he's our best finisher in my book. He can't stay fit, and Canote as well. He's the same. He's starting to get injury prone, and we've got to watch for that. I mean, maybe with the whole backroom staff leaving, physios seem to be leaving. I mean, now the goalkeeping coach is leaving, so a whole new set of people are coming in. Maybe they can do something that the other physios weren't doing. I obviously, like with a lot of them, it's muscle injuries. I mean, we seem to be the team that always gets these muscle injuries. I don't know whether it's how Klopp trains them in the morning, and then I think they train at night as well, so twice a day. So, but yeah, I think we just have to be really careful of like. I think we need two not massive names to come in. Not £100 players, but I think we need.
What positions you need? What positions would you say?
Well, I'm still up in the air with Nunes. Like, he frustrates me that if he wasn't getting in these positions, I'd be like, get lost, already. But he gets in the positions. He does have chances that I think his brain doesn't like work as quickly as like the Fowlers and Owens or even Salah's. Like, he just tries to welly every damn ball, and I'm like, just place the ball. I mean, no wonder like sometimes like Salah gets frustrated. I mean, he puts the ball on a plate for both Nunes and Diaz, and again, Diaz's work rate is bar none, like fantastic, but his finishing is the same. He scores once every while. Gakpo, for me, he needs more games, and he's been playing like 5, 6 different positions. Nunes, it's a tough one. It's like, do you keep him around for another season and see what Slot can get out of him? Do you play him on the wing a little bit more? Like for Benfica, when he was playing on the wing, he was scoring loads.
Yeah. For me, no, you're probably gonna have to keep him around because of the financial thing and that. But I don't think I don't think you're gonna win a major with him playing. You being your number 9, or even being your third choice striker. Do you know when you play yourself? And I'm not trying to compare football, but at every level. But it's do you know when you know players are onto things? You know when you're like, oh, I'm on the same wavelength. When if I go there, he'll go there, or if you do that, he'll go there. And you know the intelligent players. You might have big, strong boys who can go and run fast and win headers and whatever else, and you John Terry's of the world. But when you're on the floor, or when you're just in those sharp areas around the box, some players are on it. Some players are so neat and technical and quick thinking that they make the difference. Bobby Firmino, Jogo, Mane, Salah, they all have it. And I don't think Nunes has. I think Nunes can play him in teams like Benfica when maybe the league isn't as good, but also he's got lots of time and space, and they play a certain way where you put the ball in between him and the goal, but in front of him, you let him chase it, and he finishes it. He's got one to beat, and he does it. When you've got in Liverpool, if you play for Liverpool, you've got 65-75% of possession every single game. So most of the time, you're playing within a third of the pitch, and you need the players who can make the difference there. And I don't think he hasn't got the feet to do it. Maybe not the brain. Maybe he has got the brain, but the feet he hasn't got to do it. And those vital moments where he needs to be really astute and really sharp in front of goal, he's not quite. The emotions take over him, and he goes for the blast. He goes for his physical prowess rather than his intelligent thinking. Probably going to stick around, and you know what? He might go and score another 15 this year, but I guarantee you, he will not score 15 winners. He won't score 5 winners. He'll score 2 away at home when we've won 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you play a half-12 game against Sheffield United, he'll go and score 2 there because he'll outmuscle someone and he'll go and score. But those moments, like we've seen in the past couple of games, where you're going to get one chance in the second half and you need to take it, the chance at the cup finals, the semi-finals, the games against City, Arsenal, derbies, United, I don't think it doesn't fill me with confidence being with him being on the pitch. But again, if people can point to stats and go 15 goals he scored or this many goals and blah blah, just unfortunate. And I feel for him because he does try hard on that. But maybe have him third choice and come on the bench and cause murder every 60 minutes. 60 minutes every game. But how much is he on? 150 quid a week, 150,000 a week or something. Like, Divock Origi was on half of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think in the middle of the pitch, like I like Endo, but he's 29 and he's slow as hell, and I think I really realise like how much we miss like a first season Fabinho.
Yeah. A bit
he could get all over the pitch. Yeah, I think, and I think like watching the derby, I don't think I've ever seen us play that shite.
Mm.
Like I had a podcast this morning, and I was just telling him like we needed like a James Milner for that match where he comes on and he gets stuck in. Put your foot in, not like dirty, but just put your foot in. I never saw any of that during the derby. It was all Everton that would kind of be in the physical team, and we just kind of it looked like we wanted to play this pretty football. Sometimes you just gotta grab the ball by the horn and just be like, all right, we got to get physical here, and I think that's what we're missing. We're missing like a hard man in midfield.
That's when I was watching the derby. I texted in the group chat. I said, "Okay, McAllister's great, magic, beautiful, amazing, gifted football player, but you can't rely on him in games like that in the same way Endo. Because how many derbies or like big like games like that? How many managers like Sean Dyche's Endo come up against in his career? And even McAllister maybe a little bit wet round ears when it comes to sort of the physical. Like, no, this game is just about who wants it more, kicking, heading, running fast, like tackling, like those absolute boiled down basics. And if you watch, I think I said in the group chat too again, and it was met with sort of agreement with all my mates, is sort of missed Henderson. it was so lethargic and like pass and pass and pass. We'll score the perfect goal in a minute. Don't worry, we'll score the perfect goal. We'll find an opening. When you watch Endo would shout to people on the ball. He'd be shouting McAllister, do it quick, hurry up, come on, let's go win the game. Sort of putting in your own onus on them players. Like, don't just like pass it round and wait for everyone else to score or wait for the perfect chance. We need to go and score the goal. Put the ball in the box or move it faster. Like, and that sort of mentality that almost was able working class mentality. I know because I know all the lads who play for Liverpool probably are working class, but that sort of northern like we're in the park. Let's go and win it. Let's Sunday league. We're on a bog. Let's just put the ball in the box and let's really take the bull by the horn, to use your analogy. I think we sort of miss a bit of leadership in there. Van Dijk sort of, yeah, he's a leader and he's a talker and all that, but he hasn't. I think he's a little bit too cool for school at times. Where he's just like, don't worry, we'll pass it round, give it to you, and we'll give it to Trent. He's really good. And McAllister, my mate, there, he'll pass it. And sometimes you just need to go get the ball in the box. Let's go do it. Roy Keane, Steven Gerrard, Henderson, like.
No, spot on. I agree. I just think sometimes I wanna see like Virgil angry, and you barely see him sweat. But I just want to see him just go like, motherfucker, like, what are you doing? Like, come on. And I haven't been seeing that lately. And that's what you want from your captain.
Yeah, he does it in reactionary ways. Like, someone gives the ball away and he has to cover them or whatever. He'll shout or like he'll throw his arms in the air. Like, that's all I feel like I've watched him do for the last 3 months, and go like that after he has to cover or it goes out for a throw in or a corner or something. But he needs to be proactive in a sense that, like, not just standing waiting, watching people. He needs to, him, and not just him, I don't want to throw on him, but him and Trent, Salah, Robbo, they all need to, and it's probably the middle of the pitch is probably where we're lacking it.
Mm-hmm.
No, you've got like your back four doing that, and then you've got the two wingers doing that. You need someone right in the middle there to be going, come on, let's just go and do it. Not from the whistle, from the fair. That's why we keep going down, because like, it's okay, we'll score in a minute, boys. Take your time, pass it, control the game. It needs to have a rocket and be like, come on, no, let's go score first. Let's go score, then we can do that. Let's go win the game. So I think a midfielder to do that would be great, but it's hard to come into a team full of Virgil van Dijks, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salahs, and then be able to shout your gob off. It's going to take a lot of money and a big person to do that, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I just think, like, especially midfield. I mean, so many injuries, and then your back four kept switching out. I don't think we played with the same centre backs. Like, barely 2 games on the trot. Robbo was out, Trent's been out, and thank God for like Connor Bradley. Absolutely amazing. But again,
he's a monster. He's going to be unbelievable. He hasn't even finished yet.
Yeah, but you're just looking like you're putting all this pressure on a young lad.
Yeah,
and then Gomez for me has been the most improved player this season. I mean, he's played anywhere Klopp has told him to do, and he's done a damn good job. There was people going last season, get rid of Gomez. I'm glad we kept him.
Yeah,
he's solid. He kind of helped save the season, so to speak. I think Tsimikas probably needs to go, if I'm being honest.
Left back, don't we?
Yeah, he just doesn't give me like positive vibes at all. I mean, yeah, he did the penno for us when we won was it the FA Cup or League Cup a couple of seasons ago. But apart from that, like, I mean, his crossing's not great, but whenever you have somebody like Robbo who's absolutely boss and like, his assists are way up here, you've got to have a really good backup, and I just don't think he's I like the young lad from Fulham, Robinson. I think he's good. But that's for obviously Edwards and Hughes to figure out. That's why we watch football, so we don't have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've
do this without any accountability.
Yeah, we can talk absolute cod shit.
Yeah.
They're all right. So, Fran, I've got two more questions for you before I leave you. First, what does Jurgen Klopp mean to you?
Wow. Jurgen Klopp me some of the
Toughy, I'll tell you that in 3 weeks' time. Oh,
he's given me some of the best memories I've ever had. Yeah, he's sort of lifted the club up and the city up. Sort of by the bootstraps and put us back to not where we belong, but where we belong. He's also sort of been a breath of fresh air, and I know everyone says it because he's like the guy and his character, he's the normal one and whatever else, but to be able to be good at something, to be able to be elite at anything that you are, any industry that you're in or anything that you want to do with your life, you can still be a good person. Like you can still be like just likable. That story where they get beaten the European Cup and all the lads are sulking after the game and that, and he comes over and says, "You're going to be like this all night. Come and have a pint," and massively just puts things into perspective of like he takes it really, really seriously, but he sort of he doesn't let it take it. He doesn't let it poison him or make it change him in any sort of way. He's still a left leaning, beer drinking sort of good guy. You know what I mean? And you can do that and be the absolute pinnacle of anything you want. You don't have to be crazy obsessed, sort of authoritarian, money grabbing. So like, which is what sort of what the Premier League would be if it wasn't for Jurgen Klopp. If Jurgen Klopp was not Liverpool manager, look at all the top managers. Okay, Pep, stayed around. He's been the longest serving. Is he the longest serving? I'm not sure, but the footballing managerial merry-go-rounds, the players and the agents sort of back and forth. It's become this sort of crazy, mad, elitist, money-hungry revenue stream for the elites. Even the ticket prices and all that. He just stood being himself right in the middle of it, and he's the perfect example for anyone who wants to do anything. Do you know what I mean? He's a good guy.
He's the same person, I think, who walked through that door in October 2015 as he's the same person leaving. But yeah, it's going to be a emotional day. But as we know, as Liverpool Football Club, managers do come and they do go, and we're still Liverpool Football Club. So, but yeah, I just wish we could have added a few more trophies. But he's leaving a legend.
We might get them, depending on them 115 charges. We might get some of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when pigs fly. Yeah. All right, my last one is Ultimate Festival lineup. So you got your Friday, your Saturday, and Sunday, and Alive or Dead.
Okay. What headliners? Just headliners.
Yeah, just your main main stage headliners.
Okay, I'll go Saturday. I'll come to Friday. Saturday, I'll go Arctic Monkeys. First ever band that sort of I took to my heart. They were my ones. Like, that's a band that speaks to me. Sunday headliners, the Beatles, because they're everyone's band. They're not my band. They're everyone's, and music started with them. Wow, Friday. Probably Fleetwood Mac. They were probably the the music in the background of my childhood as I played in the garden, or like that sort of. I never knew who they were, but I just knew all the songs. And when I got to a point where music was a thing, I took an interest in them, and probably more so for me mum, that one. She was like a big fan, and she always had Smooth Radio on, or Rumours. You'd have the Rumours album on most of the time.
Yeah, my dad was Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and my mum was Elvis and Beatles. So I had I had a really cool, like, heavy sound, but then the soul of the Beatles, Elvis. But yeah, well, Fran, an hour's already gone by, and I love chatting with you. It's actually nice to see you again, but actually sit down and have a good chinwag with you. So I wish you and the band all the best. If people that are listening, if you're over in the States, please go check out Red Rum Club. They're on their US tour in the next couple of weeks. Please go check out their album, Western Approaches. I'll put a link in the description when it goes out. But yeah, until next time, please like, subscribe, put your notifications on and all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.